All right. Once again, another stream about just translating some Russian news into English language and just discussing what's been going on in the past week, current week, and just in general around Russia, around situation in Ukraine, our situation in Belarus, etc., etc. So let's jump into it. And first news I'm bringing you is the one that in Russian, basically Parliament, Duma it's called, Gosduma. Um, they are trying right now to basically allow 18 years old guys right from the school to go immediately to war, basically. Um, Before that, as of right now, I mean, apparently you needed to at least go through like 3 months of basic like training. I don't think you needed to go through army. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But I feel like you didn't need to go to army, um, but you would have to go through 3 months of yeah, just like urgent express kind of a training, something like that. And yeah, it's basically made because obviously Russia right now is feeling the pressure in terms of they're lacking the personnel and they need more people, and people who are a bit older, 25, 30, a lot of them realizing that there is absolutely no fucking need to go to this shit, and yeah, they don't want to risk their lives unless they come from like really properly fucking poor regions of Russia, and then they just wing it in a way. If the like salary in Russia, let's say like you get in one region like $500 per month if you're lucky, and suddenly you're being offered $5,000 per month. Some people decide that this is a good enough trade for them to try and risk their own lives, and actually they sign a contract for like 2 3 months, quite often short contracts, and they go to war, which is insanity and atrocious. And everybody who's doing this is a complete scumbag because, yeah, no amount of money should pursue you to go into war, like especially into war like this. It's not an offensive. It's not a defensive war. Sorry. It doesn't protect. It doesn't protect anybody. If we're being really honest, right? And all it does is satisfies like fucking retarded Putin's ambitions, and his imperialist views of the world and his own sick and fucking brain dead wishes. Why would you do this? Why would you satisfy this fucking tyrant and dictator and absolutely insane person? I have no idea. There are the ways to make money instead of killing people, risking your own life, and just signing basically a contract that says that you are a fucking atrocious person. You are a scumbag. So yeah, now they want to do it with 18 years old guys just out of school. Obviously, this is an age where you're a fucking moron most of the time, right? And there are a lot of probably people who might do it. So yeah, if they go there, fuck them. Absolutely, fuck them. Just a couple more laws created about sort of governmental secrets, about capital punishment, not capital. Is it capital punishment? Criminal, sorry. Criminal punishment for demonstrating Nazi symbols, and also extremist symbols. I'm not sure which exactly is this gonna be. No idea really. Apparently, those kind of additions to the law are not yet published, although top sort of TASS Interfax, like the fucking garbage Kremlin's sort of media, state media, they have published that this is gonna be in place, in effect, quite soon. So yeah, it's gonna happen. Also, they want they means the deputies, governors or deputies, yeah, want to implement again criminal penalty for any sort of like internet hacks, like if like if anonymous group hacks like a fucking whatever Kremlin's website or something like that, that will be now, I'm assuming, a criminal penalty, anywhere from 700 to 1.5 million rubles, or what is it, like, that's quite steep, right? That's, well, okay, maybe not that much, or is it much? What is it? Yeah, it's like $100,000, which is quite a lot for, like, if it's for one person. No, I'm saying shit. $10,000. Or it's gonna be like a, what is this? It's gonna be like, yeah, correctional facility, correctional works up to 1 year, or just detain a person for up to 3 years. So that's by the by. I'm feeling like nothing particularly. I mean, yeah, Russia, like Belarus, has done all of this or most of this basically in the course of the past 2 years, right after 2020, and stolen elections. And now the same shit is just coming to Russia. Nothing particularly new. Just wanted to acknowledge the fact that this is happening. One really great article by BBC, tracking where Russia is taking Ukraine's stolen grain. I recommend all of you who's interested in this conflict and on a broader implications of this conflict. I'm sure everybody had heard in the news about the grain crisis, right? About like food crisis, worldwide food crisis. This is a great article detailing how exactly Russia is stealing trucks, is stealing grain from Ukraine, and then transports it into regions in Syria, for example. And I'm assuming after that, from Syria, they might like transport, like they might sort of put it in some other maybe containers, something like that, and then maybe try to sell it somewhere else. I'm not sure exactly. But this is a good article, quite, quite big one, but quite detailed one. So I would definitely recommend you tracking where Russia is taking Ukraine's stolen grain. Good article, right? Then I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about Bloomberg and Russia's default, and like economy's default, which is not particularly correct, right? A lot of people like happily sort of retranslating the same idea and the same sort of, the same message that, oh, Russia has defaulted, Russia's economy is in shambles, and so on and so forth, right? But I don't think like a lot of people like really understand what they're talking about, because while Russia's economy is like really in shambles and it's gonna be, shittier as the time passes, right? This particular thing is not really correct. It's not really correct about the default, because this particular default is basically done because United States, in just like in a layman's term, in a basic term, basically United States declined to accept the payment. Russia has got, or you can like sort of say, because like the correspondent banks are sort of blocked, so on and so forth. But the technicalities is not that important in a sense, because it's not that Russians economy is in such bad shape that they do not have money to pay. They do have money to pay, thanks Europe for sending them billions of dollars every month and euros. It's a there's just a technicality. This default is a technical default, which again, it doesn't mean that Russia doesn't have money. It doesn't mean that Russia declines the payment, right, or denies to pay, right. It is again United States who's declining to accept the payment. So that's a very kind of important detail, which I don't like when, especially when like giant fucking important and major resources like Reuters, like Bloomberg, when they just sort of, just like put it as if it's actually, since 1997 or whatever, or like it's first time since 1918 even, like they defaulted on their obligations, whatever the fuck. It is not true, because once again they would default if they couldn't pay back, in a sense that they didn't have money or they declined to pay. They said we will not pay, right? But this is not true. They're trying to pay and they have money to pay. It's that stance of Europe, of United States, that we're not going to deal with you anymore, thus we're not going to allow you to pay, thus technical default. But once again, this is I don't like this disingenuous shit, because especially when you're fucking talking about 100 million. Like fucking Russia made like what is it, like 40, no, even more, I think I think it was more than $50 billion during the course of this war right now from Europe alone. You fucking kidding me? They don't have 100 million, you think? Of course they do. Of course they do. So this is absolutely, and you can see that it doesn't really say here anything that, Russia actually wants to pay, Russia actually has money to pay. And this is Reuters, for fuck's sake. I really don't like this. In this particular case, and I really do not like when I have to agree with like Russians fucking morons from the government, or just Russian scumbags. But who is it, like a ministry, like a vice minister of economy, whatever the fuck his name was, Siluanov. He was saying that Europe basically wants to put a badge, put a tag on Russia, as if they actually, like Russia, actually, this sort of, how to put it, like a cursed sort of asset, which it is, but not because they cannot pay, And in this particular case, I have to agree with actual fucking Siluanov, with Russian government, which is not a good sign. Which is not a good sign when, again, Bloomberg and Reuters, who are pretty good at fucking reporting their shit, they do not really acknowledge this. They're talking about some history about fucking, again, 1918, 1997, all of the shit, which does not matter. Russia has 100 millions to fucking pay for this garbage, right? Not garbage. Obviously, it's all important and everything, but this is very, very, very disingenuous on part of Bloomberg and on part of Reuters to report it that way. Russia can pay $100 million, and they've had made several payments before, but this time, once again, I think it was United States who closed like a loophole, which previously allowed Russia to actually pay for previous payments. And this time around, they closed the loophole. Boom, Russia cannot pay. But that's not really a default. That's not really. I mean, it is technically very, very, in some very, very technical terms. But this is not historic default, because historic default would be if Russia has zero fucking money, if like no country in the world, or like pretty much no country in the world, trades with them. There is no income of euros, of dollars into country, right? Into Russia. Again, Europe does not buy oil, Europe doesn't buy gas, Europe doesn't buy any natural resources, so on and so forth, right? In that case, yes, that would be historic default, because that would actually mean that Russia doesn't have money, and they just decline to pay. They say we will not pay. But in this case, they tried to pay, and United States, I think it was United States, who said, we're not going to allow you to pay. How can it be historic default if you're saying we're not going to allow you to pay for what you owe us, and for what you're trying to pay, and then you decline it, and you're not declining, and then you're announcing it as a historic default? It's not. So I don't like this disingenuity. Is that even a word? Whatever. On part. Yeah, Ministry of Finance, Anton Silvanov, said that Russia is still carrying out its obligations. However, for Russia being created, all of the artificial sort of artificial barriers, basically, to actually tag them as a defaulted country. But everybody who understands this is not a default, and he is right. And like I'm saying, I do not like to agree with Russian fucking governmental officials, because this is not a country, and these are not the people who I would want to agree in anything, basically. And yet he's right, he's correct in this particular case. Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, like, sanctions are working, and they're fucking destroying Russia's economy right now. It's like, you can see in stores in Russia already right now, or in factories. In stores, you can see that they can't fucking even print colorful labels on like a Tetra Pak packages for like milk or juices or whatever, because they don't have like a fucking pigments, coloring pigments to actually print stuff like an ink and stuff, so on and so forth, right? And Tetra Pak itself is leaving this market, so it's gonna be really like back into Soviet Union style, when you go and buy things in glass bottles with a little lid, a little like aluminum lid on top, or was it aluminum? I'm not sure. And then you drink your milk, and then you take this bottle, and you go to like a recycling facility. You give back your bottle which you bought. I remember that in like 1995 or something, 97 maybe, in those days. I remember doing exactly that after already the fall of Soviet Union in Belarus. I was doing that. We were buying milk in the bottles. You drink the bottle, you would go to this like little like a stall close to the shop, and you would, give them your bottles. They would give you a few cents, and there it goes. And they would clean the bottles, they recycle it, and next time you go to the store, there at some point there would be probably your bottle there. So that's that. Okay, well, let's continue. So this default is not a default really. So everybody needs to just understand what exactly is talking about, or rather, what's been going on right now. And that unfortunately in this particular case, Western media are not they're just not correct. Simple as that. And they are misleading the public, which is, I don't know, I don't like it, because you can write a lot of shit about Russia without sort of, without doing bullshit mainstream media switcheroo, fakeroos. I don't like this. Whatever. Ministry of Defense of United Kingdom reported that apparently Russia is mobilizing people, but doing it in a kind of a weird, sneaky cunt kind of a way, right? There's this thing, kind of Russia's combat army reserves, and I really strongly suggest you to subscribe to Ministry of Defense of UK, on Twitter, and they put out this intelligence, defense intelligence kind of reports. Really interesting, really quick, really small ones, but yeah, this is you can just read here. Recent innovation of part-time but volunteer reservists, which deploy as whole units, typically remarked for rear area security tasks. The human mobilization resource is a sizable pool of all veterans who have served in the regular military in the past 5 years, blah, blah, blah. You can read it. But this is basically what Russia has been doing, because they're just trying to, and I read you obviously previously about how they're trying to send 18 years old, literally out of school people. This is all part of it because they need more people. And this is exactly why they're using the tactics that they're using right now. That is to say, they just artillery strike everything. They just bomb the shit out of everything. And they don't really like, they're doing this like Severodonetsk, right? Is the city of Severodonetsk. They've been fighting for it for, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, for about like 80 days or something like that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's been like 80 days to get sort of this area. And so what they're doing right now, Russian army, is sitting in trenches and artillery strike to the positions of Ukrainians. Right now it's going to be city of Lysychansk. It's going to be the same shit. Artillery strikes. They're doing the same shit that they've been doing in Syria. And I believe right now 2 sort of major commanders of Russian army are actually from Syria. Or maybe it's 1, but, you know, Putin changed a couple of them. So I'm not following like really closely. But I'm pretty sure I've read that both of them were operating in Syria, and in Syria, Russian army has been doing exactly that. Bombed the shit out of everything, left nothing basically alive, and then you enter the territory. Wow, how brave of you. What an amazing army. You're so fucking amazing. And unfortunately, they're doing this. Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, they probably will get this, will enclose this kind of area, because it's gonna be Lugansk area, all of it. If they close Lysychansk and Bilogorivka and this area, right, is gonna be complete control of Lugansk area, which is unfortunate, really, really unfortunate. But yeah, it's because they have so much artillery. That's because they have so much artillery and they have more forces. So they will probably close this area. Some suggest that they might get the whole Donetsk region by the end of summer. I'm not sure about that. What I don't understand, I know that, like, I'm not by any means a war expert, like tactical expert, not at all. But I do not understand why Ukrainians do not use this sort of tactic of just starting from the side, basically, where your border is. I mean, they're doing this. They've done it on in the north and northeast of the country, but they're not really doing it that much on the east and sort of southern eastern parts. If I were, again, I'm not like a military kind of a knowledgeable person by any means, but it just seems to me like a little bit of a reasonable sort of assumption that it might go all right if you just start like with your forces basically, you know, on one flank, and just slowly but surely remove all of the Russians from, yeah, basically to put them back to Russia, but do it consistently as like one big flank kind of and just go across your country, sweeping it fully. I've seen that they've started doing this on Kherson. I guess it's easier for them to do it there, probably because more. I'm not sure really. I'm not really sure. Maybe they're doing it on Kherson right now. Obviously, I don't know nothing about situation on the front itself. I'm assuming that they're doing this first of all, so Russians would have to move some forces between those places. They can't concentrate all of their forces in Donetsk, Lugansk areas. But also, of course, because Kherson and this whole region is very important for Ukraine and for Russia, for that matter. So I understand they want to do it here, but the thing is that, like, with that maneuver, as I kind of see it, you would want to sort of hug one side of either border, or have it like a sea, and just like methodically, slowly but surely, with a big kind of a flank, just move and clear all of the. I wish you could draw here. That would be so cool. You kind of, yeah, just move your forces like a big wall kind of, and just sweep it like that. But then again, like, are you gonna be sweeping the whole Crimea right now? I don't think so. So if you continue doing this same kind of a sweeping maneuver, just trying to, yeah, remove Russians from this region, at some point in your back will be Crimea, and they could. I don't understand this really, but again, I'm not a fucking expert at all. But it just seems here on the sort of a northern eastern part, it would seem like if you would have like a wall here that would slowly go through these areas next to your own border, and methodically clear it, and like bomb any kind of places where, or like install some sort of defenses on any major sort of fields where, or roads where Russia's could use it as a means to, get back into Ukraine. Just, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, these battles, like, several cities have fallen like that Russia is slowly but surely encroaches and surrounds from kind of three sides the cities, and then Ukrainians have to go back, go back and go back and go back, and they're losing their territories. And yeah, I'm not sure about that. I've heard that Russia has lost a shit ton of equipment, and not even equipment, but all those like artillery, shells, all this kind of stuff, and they're not really producing much. So maybe this kind of a strategy of Ukraine is, yeah, there's like literal war of attrition. Let Russia waste all of their, or most of their, artillery and so on and so forth, and then start to kind of cleanse them out of their region. I don't know. I hope so. Okay, so yeah, like the Ministry of Defense of UK, nice updates, quick and concise. Yeah. Just an absolute garbage. Russian magazine, Российская газета. Ministry of Defense, Russian Federation, which Ministry of Defense is such a fucking Orwell name, because it's actually Ministry of Offense, obviously, because they're the ones who are responsible for moving the troops and all of this kind of stuff in this war. They're saying that Ukrainian forces once again attempted, was it unsuccessful? Yeah, unsuccessful attempt at bombing basically the Zmini island. If you remember, that was this very famous island with very famous people on that island who said, Russian warship, go fuck yourself, right? Which is really interesting that again, Ministry of Russia denies it. While if you go on Twitter and type basically Zmini, right, you will see that you can actually see the like markings of the bombs. So like obviously, what is it? I seem to think, right? Then which one? What am I following? Lviv, right? Yeah, this one. I'm pretty sure they've been talking about this. I've seen it in the video about this meaning. Wait, when was it supposed to be? 26, right? It's just interesting that always Russia is always denying absolute things that you can just take a look yourself. I don't really remember where was it exactly. The same, right? Been a few days. It's been a few days, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, this one is. Yeah. So Russia is saying on their official Ministry of Defense that it was unsuccessful strikes on the Zmini island, and yet you can actually see the markings on that island that something definitely is not the same. You can see some certain markings, right? Definitely not the same, is it? Few things have burned. Few rockets definitely got to the target. Some burned, like vegetation, so on and so forth. So Russia's is just so interesting because obviously, and it's so why it's so hard for me. Basically, in Belarus, when I'm talking to people who unfortunately can read only Russian language, right? And they don't they have other things to do, I understand, rather than go and correct Russian fucking Ministry of Defense. They are not interested in this. But this is one of the reasons why Russian propaganda, can be so successful. Because if people do not understand which resources to use, right? And especially because a lot of resources in Russia and Belarus are resources that is independent. There is actually like not a state owned, not a Kremlin that is owned. A lot of them are blocked, like Deutsche Welle, BBC, so on and so forth. Right? It is hard to find information, and that this is like step one. It is just pure hard to find information because a lot of the resources are blocked. And yes, you can obviously use VPNs and so on and so forth, but come on, how many people will actually do it? Let's be honest. And second, especially who are not like particularly interested in like really getting to the gist of the details, so on and so forth. And second, if you cannot read English, because a lot of information is published in English, it's an international language of the fucking internet, of the world. So a lot of it is just like I am doing it right now, right? I understand Russian, I speak Russian, right? Yet I want to deliver this information in English. And so when you can't like properly read what somebody translated, or what somebody not translated but written in like a BBC article, but not translated into Russian, but in original English language, it's really hard. It's obviously really hard. So yeah, I just wanted to like acknowledge this on a stream, like this little thing that Russian army lies, and here is like a Twitter thread immediately sort of debunking it, because you can definitely see that things have landed on that island, and there were not parachutes with little teddy bears. That's for sure. So yeah, lies, 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 and that's very interesting because my good acquaintance, unfortunately, is kind of is succumbing definitely to a propaganda. I don't know what he's watching. I have no idea. But based on the fact how he speaks, the fact that he's using the same sort of rhetoric that Russia's propagandist media are using. Oh, you can't really know. There's like different sides to blame, blah blah blah. This is like straight up from the propagandist Kremlin's playbook. It just pisses me off. It just pisses me off because people who are pretty smart, look very smart. He's like, this particular person is like one of the smartest guys I know. Is working as a fucking engineer at a top facility in the country, like literally top facility in the country. I don't really want to kind of probably say more. He's working basically on a nuclear station um, that has been built recently in Belarus. So very, very smart guy, very qualified engineer once again. But apparently in his spare time, he is like fucking watching NS, and I know that he understands at least some English. He maybe not, maybe can't like read and speak it perfectly, but I know he can be good enough to switch his news to Russian, to from Russian, sorry, to English, and consume information without bullshitting and his head basically, and putting some propaganda garbage in his head, and yet, and yet. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to acknowledge this little fact. All right, what else we've got? What else we've got? What else we've got? What else we've got? This is actually something rather, I don't want to say insane, but it's just kind of despicable. Because this is a head, Mikhail Petrovsky. This is a head of Hermitage. If you don't know about Hermitage, this is this really cool museum in St. Petersburg. Um, very beautiful, with a lot of like really nice things inside of it, like all sorts of works of art. Very beautiful place. One of the places in St. Petersburg to visit. Once again, very beautiful. However, um, however, this Mikhail Petrovsky is the head of Hermitage, and he's given the interview to, again, the same garbage shit, in which he stated a few things that, like, you can just like take this whole kind of a, if you actually want, you can just take this whole article and just translate it through the Google translation, which will do a good enough job, I'm pretty sure. I will put a link into the chat, and yeah. One thing that I wanted to mention, and this is something Medusa noticed. It's something that Radio Freedom noticed, about the few very, very fucked up statements about war and culture. We're all militarists and imperials. To us, a people of culture, we people of culture need to understand our sort of mission, or sort of our place in all what's going on. But this is like just this phrase, we're all militarists and imperials. This is just so fucking gross. This is just so fucking gross. It's insane. Like, and this is a head of the culture place in the whole Russia, probably, because Hermitage is known in a lot of countries. I would probably say, but these are phrases, and they were indeed phrases in this interview, quite a long interview, but down here at the bottom, down here at the bottom. Where was it? Yeah. Sort of our attitude towards this towards this war is not so simple. From on one side, the war is blood and murders, and on the other side, it is self affirmation of people, self affirmation of the nation. Every person wants to self affirm, and in the position in his position towards this war, people no doubt are self affirming, and we're all sort of grown up in the imperial traditions, and an empire, what the fuck, an empire. An empire basically connects or unites many countries, many people, maybe many different nationalities, finding some common and important to all things. This is so insane. This is very seductive. He's speaking about the guy who's the head of the cultural place in Russia, Hermitage, right? He's talking that the war and this imperial tradition of trying to capture as many land and conquer as many nationalities via the guise of uniting people, saying that this is very tempting, very seductive, but this is, let's say, one of those good, he's fucking saying, this is one of those good temptations. Can you fucking believe that a person, the head of Hermitage, saying that imperial traditions and these imperial wishes to conquer other nations right now in 2022, he's not speaking about 1800 or whatever, in 2022, this is very tempting, and this is one of those good temptations. But you don't have to, you should like regulate yourself. You should restrict yourself, reserve yourself a little bit. You shouldn't like go all the way. This particular paragraph is what I fucking despise. This is insanity. This is just insanity. And don't forget about the principle. A human should do as he, she, whatever, should do. Well, it's kind of hard to fucking translate it. How can you translate it? Yeah, basically, a person must do what he should do, and then see what will happen. Basically, it's like whatever, we'll see what will happen. But right now, war is going on. You should go to war, basically, and then you'll see. Fucking insanity. And I think a lot, like since Radio Freedom picked it up, just not that long time ago, actually, which is interesting. I feel like this will be in Russian, in English language, translated probably, but yeah, and this is just like one part, right? That I really like despised about this imperial sort of ambitions, and I mean, get the fuck out of here. What imperial fucking ambitions you're talking about? Russia, for fuck's sake. Russia, like, if you're comparing, let's say, like China, United States, and then let's say Russia, right? United States is the hub of all things creative, technology, like all of the fucking new stuff, like internet services, all of the startups, all of the really cool fucking gadgets, medicine, like biotech, whatever, right? The absolute fucking hub of it, like a fucking mind hub where people go. Like this is the imperialism of 21st century. You are attracting people because whatever, right? Like you have a good tradition of well, first of all, pretty good governance, generally speaking, compared to other countries, right? Whatever, the language is decent enough, easy enough. A lot of people learn it, right? You have grant systems. You welcome actually all of the engineers, all of the fucking scientists, so on and so forth, right? You've created the circumstances in which people can prosper and in which people can do their work, do the things that they enjoy, do the things that they like. And by doing so, these people will bring up your economy, will create new things that then later you can export, right? This is the intellectual property that sure, like, it belongs to people in a sense, but also it belongs to the companies who are American companies. So in like a general broader sense, it belongs to United States, not directly, but it's sort of the umbrella. And then obviously the financial sector and so on and so forth, the dollar itself, the trust in the United States, so on and so forth, right? In China, they're trying to copy somehow USA with the in a sense, with this mixture of fucking Soviet Union, which will not work. Let me tell you that. But again, at least China is creating a lot of things. They're the hub of creation of those things that are based on intellectual property of America. What the fuck is Russia doing? Literally pumping oil and gas and so on and so forth, natural resources, doing it with the help of Western tools from Germany, from France, from United States, of course. They can't even create their own fucking tools to pump oil out of the ground. What are you fucking talking about? What kind of empire are you talking about, for fuck's sake? Such a fucking I didn't know, like, that apparently there are like way more brain dead Russians, even at such high, like, again, cultural places where you're supposed to be, I think, at least a bit smarter, a bit more sort of anti-imperial, if anything. You should be open to all the cultures from all the places, and I don't feel like imperialism is doing that. Whatever. If you want to read this, you can translate it via Google translation. It's gonna do a decent enough job so you can understand certain aspects of it, but I just wanted to point out this particular little paragraph because it just pissed me off a lot. Like, a lot. Whatever. I mean, I understand, like, I didn't know about him that much, right? But seeing that he's like a fucking Putin's lackey, like, yeah, fuck him and fuck him. Hope they will die soon. Whatever. All right. What else we've got today? Oh, we've got a little sort of a thread about Russian pilot, a Russian pilot who has been talking about how interesting the things are going right now in that industry, because a lot already, and obviously it's going to be more and more of them. Planes are in dire need of some sort of maintenance, and because obviously Europe is not, or United States for that matter, not doing maintenance anymore for these planes, it's not particularly great. It's not particularly great. A lot of pilots are being sent into sort of unpaid vacations. Some people are being fired after that, for example, and and pilots are already started to kind of feel that it might be not really safe to fly. Um, and people also like understand that. Well, it's not even that people understand that it's not safe to fly, but the prices are insane, and the prices I think insane right now for the whole world. But obviously, in Russia, it's even worse. And apparently they don't have an updated maps, because once every 28 days, basically once a month, um, there are different updates for maps, so on and so forth. So this is not happening anymore. This is not happening anymore, right? The same thing about I think I talked about it in first stream. I think that um, Sukhoi Superjet. This is the plane that is supposed to be like a Russian plane, Superjet. Obviously, it was uh, it was a project between I think France. I think France, and was it? I think it was France, right? Oh my god, you fucking kidding me? I think Superjet was France, right? France and Russia, was it? I know for sure that Russia, yeah, between French, Safran, Russian, and Poston, yeah, exactly. Um, because Russia can't even build a fucking airplane engine. Not that is like super simple or anything, but yeah. So we don't have any our own planes. The pilots are saying, and yes, we can, and they all can acknowledge 'cause they understand what they're talking about. Um, they understand that yes, we what yeah here we can actually extract the raw materials, right? However, we can't really build shit. That's the basic gesture. We can't really build shit. We didn't like develop this voice project. We basically assembled it. And even assembly was who the fuck knows how. If you're gonna check the statistics, which I don't know about statistics. Apparently, there weren't a lot of them. I'm assuming in the service, or that or that yeah, or that apparently it wasn't particularly greatly assembled. If you had 3 hull losses accidents, that's quite something. For quite a small amount of those planes, because apparently there's like 127 planes, 3 of them out. I mean, that's not a particularly great number. So what I'm saying is that in addition to a shit ton of problem in car industry, and cars right now being in Russia being produced as a Euro 2 standard, no airbags, no um, like anti-braking system, anti-lock braking system, right? ABS, something else, electronic stability control. I think is basically where you need control electronic components gone from the Russian automobiles right now. And Russian automobiles, I'm saying, they're not Russian automobiles. They're Renault joint venture. Once again, joint ventures, and yeah, it's Russian is assembly mostly. And so right now, instead of Euro 5 cars that would satisfy standards of Euro 5, maybe Euro 6, I think Euro 5 definitely. Right now they're being produced Euro 2. I think I'm gonna show you one link about it. This thing I've noticed, and I was really really fucking shocked. Um, I was really shocked, right? This is City Kizlar, which is Dagestan. Simple Russians who are against the war, meeting the killers, marauders, and rapists from Mariupol. This is insane, to be honest. I do not know how people can be so fucking brain dead. I simply don't know. I don't understand how people can be so brainwashed to do this. I do not know. Like it's one thing if you've been like put into this sort of like a meeting whatever, right? Like a greeting of Dagestans, which are somehow Russian as well, soldiers. But if you've been paid to do it, right, whatever, just stand there still, do fucking nothing, right? But people are whistling, people are applauding, people are smiling, people are waving. I don't get this. I do not get this. Just imagine the same. Just imagine looking the same. But seeing not a word Z, but a Nazi swastika, right? It's so fucking shitty that Nazis ruined swastikas, right? But imagine that would be, year 1942 or something. This is insanity. This is another fucking insanity. Can you fucking believe this shit? Just so you know where Kizlar is, where in general, this is this region that shouldn't be Russia. I think Republic of Dagestan, Chechnya. This region, I don't think it's really Russia, to be honest. In terms of, I feel like there's a little bit of a different mentality. Although right now I don't understand. Maybe not really, but Russia had wars against this region, and then they incorporated these regions, and now it's part of Russia. And now these people from Grozny, from Dagestan, who were fighting against Russians, now they're fighting for Russians in Ukraine against Ukrainians. This is fucking insanity. And that's not particularly wealthy region. Maybe it could be, because I've heard, at least in Chechnya, somewhere in these areas, there are quite a lot of oil. But because the money all the time go through all the regions into Moscow, Moscow steals, Moscow Kremlin, all the fucking oligarchs, all the closest to Putin steal half of it, probably more, and then send back some shitters. You get what you get. But this is insanity. These couple videos. How can you do this? How can you do it out of your own volition? It doesn't look like they've been like really forced. While I do see Rosgvardia, like Russian. How is Rosgvardia? Will be what kind of a thing is? I know it's like a National Guard. Yeah, National Guard. Basically, the in kind of a, you could say, special forces that have been created to protect Putin in it. Well, so you can even see it's founded by Putin to protect Putin, protect his regime. Let's put it that way. They're used to like on some meetings, on like a Democrat, like, I don't know if you could say it like that, on opposition's meetings, to jail the opposition, to take people from the streets, to do all kinds of shit like that. Yeah. National Guard, yeah, something like that. So yeah, this is atrocious. No other way to put it. I don't get it. I do not understand what should be in the fucking head of people to do this. And yet, here it is. Just so you know that, apparently there are more brain dead Russians that we think. Yeah. Very interesting. I think I talked a little bit about fires in different regions of Russia. However, I don't think I've really talked about this like latest news. It's that government of authorities, whatever, in Krasnoyarsk Krai, Yakutia, Magadanskaya области, Chukotsky regions, right? They all decided not to extinguish forest fires in these regions, right? And just so we are all on the same page, which regions we're talking about. This is Krasnoyarsk region, right? Yakutia is also near there. So further regions, right? Krasnoyarsk Krai, Yakutia, Magadanskaya область even further to the right, and then Чукотский автономный округ. So basically, like central and eastern parts of Russia, they can burn. Russia says we don't give a fuck. This whole region can burn. Which is insane. And 5.6 thousand hectares of forest in one region, 2.2 thousand hectares in another, 22,000 hectares in another, 5.6 in another. Let's change it into meters. ...220 square kilometers. This is only one region, right? 220 square kilometers. This is just one region. 100. Okay, 200. Where 200? 200, right? Yeah. So let's say like area like this just burns like this, right? Basically like this area or something like this area, it can all burn. We don't give a fuck. Yeah, that's cool. Very interesting. What is the Europe What is the Europe countries in square kilometers by area? This one. Yeah. So it's basically like area of Malta, Liechtenstein, Andorra, for example. Yeah, just burn the fuck, whatever, completely, like just completely. Yeah, very interesting how you do it. Did I translate it correctly? Translate 22,000 hectares, right? Yeah, I have translated correctly. So yeah, just that. Russia doesn't want to basically. Russia doesn't want to. Well, it doesn't want to. It cannot really properly respond to this hazard. So yeah, but they can definitely steal trillions of dollars from Russia. The oligarchs and all these fuckers who build themselves yachts that cost more than the head of the Black Sea Fleet. Fucking insane. While firefighters in these regions or forest workers wherever can't properly, put like lenses of defense against fire, right, or do anything like that. Cool, why not, right? Whatever. Russia is big, a lot of forest. We can burn it all. We can burn it all down. Um, where did I find this news? Where was it about? It was about. Wait, I need to find where exactly I got it from. Oh yeah, I remember. So, okay, so it's here. 36 minutes, I'm pretty sure.
Всем привет, меня зовут Майкл Найт.
Публикация в своем телеграм-канале.
So this is the Sherga Rusic, which is Russian nationalists, Sherga Rusic, real nationalists, from Russia though, not from Ukraine, who are actually in Ukraine at this war, and this is what they're saying in their Telegram group, right? Basically, about safety in the informational space. As ever, there are a lot of moments when people who are in this war, special military operation, like if I can say, are being stupid, and this leads to tragic consequences. Follow these simple rules: do not take food from local people. Do not tell them where they are. Do not use your actual real name. Remember about a huge amount of cameras that are that are what is it? Oh my god, I'm fucking still having a brain aneurysm. I'm sorry. Not fix. Filming, basically. For fuck's sake. Why am I being so retarded? Remember about huge amount of cameras that are recording everything. Close your face. If you've done something wrong, make sure, or try to make sure, that you don't have any evidence, not evidence, any witnesses from locals. from local people. If you've done something wrong, try to make sure there would be no local witnesses. Which means that these people from this diversion, what is it? Diversion assault group Rusich, who are Russian nationalists, neo-Nazis, real neo-Nazis, real nationalists. They even have like a VK page. VK like deletes a shit ton of like oppositionist things, and yet, and even fucking Telegram. Oh my god! I'm gonna report this definitely. It's not available. Of course, it's not available. So yeah, these people are telling basically to kill local people if something goes wrong. Don't leave witnesses. How about that? Cool, right? Fucking amazing. Just wanted to make sure that this is also on the record, sort of, in this video, because this is insane. Unfortunately, like you can't see like who, like it's just a post from a Telegram group. You don't see the name who exactly said it, but yeah, real Russian neo-Nazis telling to people who are in Ukraine to kill local people if they witnessed some wrongdoing, basically, that was done by these neo-Nazis. Yeah. Just wanted to include it. Tinkoff, we talked about Bank Tinkoff, which is something of a joke right now, because this bank is just trying to destroy itself totally and completely. Once again, the original creator and owner of this bank, Tinkoff himself, has basically sold this bank right now, and so it's not affiliated with him anymore, although they didn't change the name, so it still has his name on it. And right now they're implementing new commission. If you are having some dollars in that bank, you will need to pay 1% per month to basically store those dollars on the bank account in the Tinkoff, which is just like, why would you fucking even bother with this bank anymore? I don't know. That's what it is. And that was the interesting. The guy got 12,000 rubles as a banking whatever it is. What is it? Transfer, right? Yeah, transfer. And then the bank took all of these 12,000 rubles as a commission for this operation. He's asking support, but 12,000 rubles, it's more than $200, because $200 that they had like limits. The minimum amount they would basically steal, because it is stealing, should be $200. And so he's asking, but 12,000 is what is like. Well, I don't even know what's the exchange rate right now, actually. Let me double check quickly. What is the exchange rate? No, not this ruble. This one. 53. Okay, well, yeah. 53. Okay, well, it should be anyway. It should be a little bit more than 12,000. And so he's asking about 12,000 12,000 rubles. It's still more than $200. Why did you take it all? And they're saying that if the transfer is a SWIFT transfer in rubles, then minimal commission is 15,000 ruble, but no more than this transfer. And he's like, but there was a $250. He's like, yeah, but because we applied like our own sort of exchange rate, then we applied some commission 3%, blah blah blah. Then basically you get fucked. This is just insanity. Like, you get $250, which is, I mean, like, for somebody living probably like in Europe or United States, wealthy enough, it's like, yeah, $250, who gives a fuck. In Russia, if you're like living in a smaller city, I mean, you could probably theoretically live a month on $250. And the bank just took it all. Yeah, plus 249. Yeah, $250 basically. And the bank just took it all. Just imagine, right? Like, your friend helps you, maybe, right? Like, sends you some money from United States, wherever, Europe, and then the bank just takes it all. All. You could have lived a month, half a month, right? Buy some food, so on and so forth, pay some bills. And just banks, for doing nothing, it's not like they're doing something, right? They're doing nothing. They're just stealing money from people. Banknikov, Russian banking sector right now, in general. And there's also fun thing that there is this satirical website, Panorama, and they created this fucking joke that American general kind of called for canceling Lithuanian presence in NATO, right? Everybody who's like in Russia, they know Panorama. What Panorama is, mostly, like, if they know a little bit about the internet, right? And then this website, Pervorusky, I don't know, sounds like some fucking nationalistic garbage with, oh my god, with all this Lance and whatnot, right? They just copied this information directly. Because, you know, it's something about, oh, the West has been shitty, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. and especially like the changes in the how's it called? The changes in the language is insane. It's all like, oh, like throw them out, otherwise you're gonna lead us to a third world war, blah blah blah, which wasn't in the original post, of course. Just a little fun thing. Decided that, you know, we can spice it up a little bit with some fun things, because everything else is super fucking serious. But yeah, just the level of these people who cannot even like check the information, check the sources, check if it's actually real or not. Yeah. I know that this is not like something that I prepared, but as you can see, Russian missiles strike his shopping center in Kremenchuk, Ukraine. They've also fired today or yesterday onto Kiev and several other regions in like central or even western parts of Ukraine. And they just fire Russia is just firing undiscriminatory, basically, onto civilian buildings. They don't give a fuck. This is their tactics of horror and terror. This is what they're trying to do. Just trying to, yeah, create a horror in people. Zelensky is saying that at least 1,000 civilians were in this mall at the time of the strike. This is insane. Wow. This is just yeah, I have no word for that. And I know, was it? Yeah. You can see, right? Like, if the main sort of battles are going on, in this kind of an area, it's quite far away, Kremenchuk, quite far away, and yet they just fired at the city. And I know the city because, if I'm not mistaken, um, like my grandma's sister, I think so. I think she was living in Kremenchuk for a long time. I think she wasn't she moved to Belarus like long time ago, but for big part of her life, she's been living in Kremenchuk. We have actually some relatives who live in Kharkiv and in Kiev. And now this fucking Russian animals are. I don't even want to say animals because animals are not like that. They're just bombing civilians. This is this tactic. Airstrikes, do as much damage as you can, and terrorize civilians. Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about was the processor, CPU, so on and so forth, but I think the stream was already like what are we, like 1 hour 20? Long enough already. I think I'm gonna talk about it later. However, one thing that what was this about? Oh yeah, just wanted to show you this animal. Again, I don't want to fucking use the word animal. This moron was writing about in some garbage fucking shitter of media about these are the plans of pro-Russian, pro-Kremlin kind of morons. Create like a Novorossiya, Malorossiya, all of these fake countries or regions, whatever. And I just wanted to point out that this is this guy. This one who've been writing this garbage. He's like a writer, some shit. I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I don't know. I wanted to close it a long time before. One thing I wanted to actually note is that if you see some news from the national interest, do not pay attention to this because it is a pro-Russian sort of a fucking dumpster. First of all, the John Mearsheimer is writing for it, and he is this like a fucking Russian apologist, American political scientist. No, he's a fucking moron. Why Ukraine is West's fault? This garbage, fucking lecture. A guy doesn't fucking understand anything. Just a fucking warmongering cunt. From what I could understand, anything. Anyway, he's writing for this dumpster of a shitter. And there was another article by the founder of this garbage, Dmitry Simes, right? And Simes, whatever. And once again, is a military conflict between America and Russia in the making. And Yuri Shvets actually was doing basically review of this article, and I wanted to bring attention to this just so you understand that you shouldn't be listening to this, the national interest, because it's a basically pro-Kremlin kind of a garbage media, and it should be taken with absolutely no seriousness because it's all the same shit. Like, oh, NATO was closing on the Russian border. Oh, we were forced to do this and that. Oh, Russia had to do this. Russia had to do that. Same garbage shit. And this the Dmitry Simes, he was a KGB agent, and apparently, at least by the Yuri kind of admission, apparently, probably. I mean, Yuri himself was in KGB, but apparently, I don't know, not anymore. But Symes was infiltrated in the USA, and that was the whole big operation with KGB and under this Primakov, who was prime minister at that time in Russia, I think, right? I mean, maybe he wasn't prime minister at that time, but he was like in KPSS. He was a prime minister at some point. He was a political figure in Russia, so on and so forth. So this Dmitry Symes, he founded this national interest garbage, and now apparently he's trying to promote this sort of content that Russia or like United States should stop like sending their equipment, stop sending help to Ukraine, and instead let's all sit down, let's talk, let's create some sort of agreement. Otherwise, who knows? Russia is a crazy country. We might use nukes and so on and so forth. Just pushing these fear-mongering narratives that Russia have been pushing for a long time now, and yeah, it's been somehow effective for a long time. I think it shouldn't be anymore because people should know and understand that it's mostly talks, less action, and definitely less capabilities that they think they have. So yeah, just pay attention to this Dmitry K. Symes, wherever the fuck, right? Pay close attention to him because he most likely is a pro-Russian cunt who's just like using some weird tactics to influence the West, like perhaps like more diplomatic sort of attitude, whatever, right? Like let's talk, let's blah blah blah. So yeah, pay attention to this cunt and to this shitty website. Okay, I feel like for today, oh, I just wanted to show you one Twitter account, Ukraine _ Ukraine battle map. If you want to get sort of some updates on some maps, what territories have been occupied by Russia, captured in like recent times, in recent days, so on and so forth. A lot of good content here. So yeah, just wanted to shout out this Ukraine battle map. I mean, doesn't need shout out, right? 43,000. But in case you wanted to see some maps, that's that. And also, once again, oh my god. And also the conflict intelligence team in English. If you need to do it, oh yeah, they're posting a bit slower in English, but in Russian, conflict intelligence team, Russian CI team _ru. They're creating a lot of sort of material here. They're doing a lot of videos. I understand the videos are in English, so maybe not the best thing, but they're posting additional materials. You can probably press on all the links and translate things if you want, if you need to. So yeah, I just wanted to point out that these people, this conflict intelligence team, is doing quite a good job, and they've using the open source sort of intelligence, open source materials to create quite detailed sort of views kind of on the war in the region right now and what's happening, so on and so forth. So yeah, if you want, this is another one. Okay. That was the latest. Yeah, that was the latest on 27th of June 2022. The region of the the war, and how the forces are sort of separated, and where they are, and so on and so forth. Yeah. War mapper. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. I wanted to show you this one, War Mapper, because his maps are pretty good, like really good. War underscore mapper, Ukraine war map. This one I wanted to show you, not the previous one. Well, both of them are good enough, but yeah, this one, because he's making quite a lot of them. Some with GIFs, some like with animations. If you want to like take a look at the differences, right? Like what Russia has been capturing, so on and so forth. Really good materials. Yeah, this one I wanted to show. Ukraine war map. Very good stuff. So yeah, I would definitely recommend to check him out because his maps were very good. Okay, so I think it's enough for today. We've got more materials still, and yeah. Let's hope Russia can fall quicker, and let's hope Ukraine can stand their ground. Because all this death and destruction, this is insane. It's insane. I wish so much that somebody just fucking pulled the plug and they fucking killed Putin and whatever. Glory to Ukraine. I really hope they can win this war, and I really hope they can win this war quicker. And I really hope that West can help them to win this war quicker, because they need help. They really need help, especially right now. Because each day that Russian army is not defeated, each day that Ukraine doesn't have like a proper air defense, really comprehensive air defense systems, each day it means that shells will be landing onto Kharkiv, onto Kremenchuk, Kiev, whatnot, and it means that more and more people will die, which is not something that should be happening, not at all. Okay, please take care of yourselves, and till next one.